Hi, this is the discussion for Module 6, Chapters 9 and 10. This is question 1 from Chapter 9, discuss and differentiate between groups and teams. So according to the text, a group is 2 or more people who think they are a group and they have common goals, structure, and interactions to achieve the desired goals. Group members need to be able to communicate with each other. Group stresses individual outcomes. The individual is the key. A team is a group in which the members feel responsible for their own efforts and for collective outcomes. Teams share responsibility. So in my place of work, I would consider all of the employees, like if we had like a Christmas party, right? All the employees from all the different houses would be considered a group. We all work for the same company. We have the same structure. We have a common goal to make the company run smoother. But then when I actually come to work, the employees within the house that I work at, the ones that all work for the same clients, we would be considered a team. We all share the responsibility of making sure this house runs smoothly and that our clients are safe and so on and so forth. This next question is question 3 for Chapter 9. Discuss the impacts of the various group roles discussed in the chapter. What roles have you played? So I see myself taking on several different group task roles at work. I feel like I'm an initiator, contributor, information seeker, opinion seeker, information giver, elaborator, coordinator, energizer, procedural technician, and the secretary. I feel like I fill those roles comfortably. In this class, on the other hand, I don't feel like I fulfill any of those roles. In the group building and maintenance roles, I also feel like I fill all of those roles at work, but in this class, I would definitely say I am a follower. I am passive, and instead of being an active participant, I just serve as an audience. In the self-centered roles, which can be destructive, I don't see myself taking on those roles at work, but I can definitely see aspects of the help seeker within myself. I don't think I define it quite exactly like the text does, but I do consider myself insecure within this class. I think the notion that most of the others, classmates, came into this class having had this teacher before and kind of knew the way he did things and what was expected. I felt like I came in maybe not where I should be, and that's kind of caused me to take a back seat. And I do think I downplay my ability to contribute to the group. It was pretty enlightening to think of myself in these different roles and, maybe not good things about myself, but that's what I think about that one. For Chapter 10, I am doing question 3 and 4. Question 3 is considering the material, how do you believe adding new members to an existing team might impact or potentially re-socialize members of an existing team? I think we've all kind of been in this scenario before. You think about when someone new comes into your place of work and maybe you've been there for a long time and you're comfortable and you feel like you know everything. And this new person's coming in. Who are they? What do they know? What can they contribute? So I think a lot of it, we all go through like an impression management on page 298, which is the process, either conscious or unconsciously, in which an individual deliberately attempts to influence the perceptions and opinions of others. So whether we're the new person or someone new comes into our own team, we are trying to give them an impression about ourselves, and at the same time, they're trying to give us an impression of who they are. I think this can go really well, or this can backfire too. You guys can all get along and everything's just fine, or the impressions they make about themselves, either they boast themselves up too much, or they talk about their old place of work. The text talks about this period of time in which they make sense of new hires. They create or construct a reputation for newcomers in everyday conversations. So the team is basically deciding whether or not they're going to make a place for you. And so I think those, the impression management is really important. Question 4 asks about disengagement and my own experiences in leaving organizations. I think disengagement is something that we all go through at some point in our life, in some group or some team or something we're connected to. I don't know if I really agree with how the book steps it out, lays it out. The pre-announcement step is when you're getting cues and signals, you're having the thoughts and feelings that maybe something's just not right, or you're second guessing yourself or your place of work, and you're kind of toying with the idea that maybe this isn't for you anymore. And then the second and third step, the announcement of the exit step, and then the actual exit step. In my own experience, I kind of feel like that to be one and the same. In the places I've worked, you're not going to announce you're leaving, or the boss isn't going to basically fire you. Then you're not going to stick around to see what happens. You're kind of, I'm leaving and you're gone, or the boss says you're gone and you have to leave. So I kind of feel like this is like a 3-step process instead of a 4. And then the post-exit step, I think we all go through. It's natural, to sit around and reflect what just happened, what did that organization bring me, what did I do for the organization, like what happened, how do I feel about it, and I think the organization goes through this too, oftentimes in the form of like rumors or gossiping about what just happened. Everyone has their own idea. Because if you go back to how I said, like step 2 and step 3 are connected, oftentimes it just, unless someone is, getting an advancement or leaving for a good reason, I guess, it just happens so fast that a lot of times no one even knows what happened. In connecting the case study with chapter 9, on page 279, it talks about the self-centered roles of the aggressor. And I think that within the case study, Dante definitely took on the destructive role of the aggressor when he decided to roast all of the other employees at the Christmas party. He thought he could boost himself by taking other people down. And I think his behaviors definitely affected the morale and the basic functioning of the team. Chapter 10, the concept that ties in with the case study, is on page 299, when it talks about the steps for organizational entry and assimilation. The third step is metamorphosis, which is defined as when an individual transforms herself or himself from a new organization member to an established member of the organization. And I think Dante did feel that he had reached the stage of metamorphosis. He felt very comfortable in his position. He liked everyone he worked with. He liked the culture of the organization. And he really felt like he belonged, so much so that he took it upon himself to roast all of his colleagues at the Christmas party, even though he was the newest employee. And then also from chapter 10 on page 305 is the steps of disengagement. The first step of pre-announcement. I think that happened after the Christmas party when Dante noticed that all of his colleagues were treating him differently, and not responding to him. They weren't asking him out to lunch like they normally did. They weren't chatting with him or talking about the weekend. And I think right then he started to have, those were like the cues and the signals that maybe BC wasn't for him. And I didn't go on to say whether he did voluntarily or involuntarily quit or get fired. But I would imagine that he didn't stick around too much longer. All right, and that's it for me. Thanks, guys.